It's a new day. It's Friday, TGIF. And what am I doing? What are you doing here? Mags! Are you helping me? Why don't you help me clean up and build some shelves? Anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm putting in a monster 1 horsepower water sensing Wayne sump pump. See? I'll show you the name. See? Oh, Mugs! Get that lanyard out of the camera's vision. I suppose if I was a professional cameraman, I'd take the lanyard off because it sways in front. Got some good smells there, huh, Mugs? Hang on a second. Wayne pumps. Wayne makes a lot of sump pumps in Ohio, and they relabel them Rigid or Sears. So I've got my 2 little pocket-sized statuary sump pumps, and this is like the Mississippi dumping in the Gulf of Mexico. I got some sediment piling up right there. So those 2 pumps are doing their job. There's water flowing in from a broken water main or who knows where, but it's flowing in. I'm going to New York City. By the time you see this video, Muggs and I and Mrs. CW will be in New York City. I've got a swollen finger, just had a tetanus shot, and I'm going to put this sump pump in. I'm going to take the water sensing switch and dump it right in the water, and when the water level comes up high enough, it's going to sump out the pump, or pump out the sump. Right, Muggs? You're a good companion, Muggs. So what do you think of LeBron James? That's crazy, huh? Guy takes the money. All he cares about is the money. How much money do you need? You go to Florida. I hope he melts in the heat. It's hot in Florida. And it ain't hot in Ohio. You know who I haven't heard from in a long time? I think one of the first guys, probably the first guy I met from YouTube, was Zeitgeist 57 or 1957. I haven't heard from Zeitgeist. He moved from Florida to Ohio, and the last video I saw was him cranking his Corvette and the battery was dead. He was trying to do a cold crank, and it wouldn't crank as it was dead. You helping, huh, Muggs? You're a good boy. So Mrs. CW's hand's in a cast. I'll show it to you soon. And I've got a swollen finger from I don't know what crap I got into, pierced my glove, and my finger's swollen. I went to see the doctor yesterday. He says, you should have come in on Monday when you felt this. This is really serious. So, going for a tetanus shot, because if you deal with crap in the earth where these enzymes grow, you need to make sure your tetanus shot is up to date. Should have bought a 100-foot roll of this. I bought 20 feet because I'm cheap. Cheap, cheap, cheap. 31 cents a foot for this garbage. Stick this pipe through the wall. Where am I here? Think it's easy to make a video? There we go. That's all I need. Because the drain's right on the other side of the wall. I hope. Funny, huh? I make the video, and then I show it to you. By the time you see it, everything you've seen in the video is long over. Like when I went to New Hampshire, and Al in New Hampshire said, oh, you were just here. I said, yeah, but I'm long gone, buddy. Good boy, Muggs. You coming to help? Funny little face. What do you think of this WikiLeaks stuff? I mentioned it to the nurse that gave me the injection. I said, WikiLeaks? She said, what's a WikiLeak? I said, you don't watch TV, do you? You don't know what's in the news? You don't know that your government secrets have been compromised? She had no clue what I was talking about. She says, I don't do stuff on the internet. I keep my information private. I said, that's what you think. Everything you do is publicized now. Privacy is history. I'm going to put some electric tape around that to keep the odors in and the water in. Alright, got just enough. I'll stick that in the hole Stick that right there. And I'm going to stick my water sensor, which is right here, into the water, and if the water level rises above that water sensor level, it's going to turn on and stir up the soup, and I should put those 2 pumps into socks. Keep the sand out of that hole right there. Alright, crank her up. Probably blow out of the hole. I'm going to have this higher because the inlets are right there. So get this garbage out of here. And I'm going to set this water sensor right there. Right there. And I suppose even if it floats a little bit, I'll plug that extra sump pump into a multiple outlet pluggy. See you in a bit. Alright, my hose is installed through the wall. I'm going to unplug these 2 little pool pumps, aquarium pumps, and the water's flowing in. I guess when I get back from my little vacation I'll check it out. Yeah, water level's rising. And at some point that water sensor is going to sense water. Maybe it has to be vertical, or maybe it doesn't matter. And this pump's going to pump on and fill that hose up real fast. Maybe I should have a clamp down there. Yep, I'm going to put a clamp on that. Oh yeah. Just fired on. I'm going to put a clamp on that so it doesn't pop off. Give me a sec. I got this clamped on so my hose doesn't pop off and wash the ceiling. Ha ha ha. Yep. And I'm going to set this back in the hole. I think it's easy working with one hand like Mrs. CW with her hand in a cast. Oh boy. Too much wire here. Wires everywhere. I'm stirring up the soup. Give me a minute. I'm going to clean things up a little bit here. It's like my shop. Alright, junk. Things are bundled up. I'm going to just plug that in just to the edge. Not plugged in. And I just discovered something before I plug this in. Take off my headphone radio that I wear all the time. Turn this off. And listen to this. What do you hear? It's not the sound of any of my power tools. They're all unplugged. My brand new DeWalt cut-off saw, circular saw, drywall saw, angle drill. What do you hear? You hear it, huh? It's the same thing I heard 5 years ago. 4 years ago? What was it? There's rust. When I had the water main break. Yep, there's my problem. It's amazing that through 5 or 6 inches of concrete I hear it so clearly. Yep. When they made that 2-inch copper pipe, type K, when they extruded it, we got a couple thin spots. One thin spot's right there, and one thin spot's right there. Now I know what I'm going to be doing when I get back from NYC, so I'm going to plug this monster pump in. It's going to torque over and make lots of sand. I'll go next door. Make sure that hasn't popped off, because then we'll have big trouble. Water spraying everywhere. 1 horsepower. There it is. I'm going to screw something into the wall. Hold that in tight. There goes my water. So now I have 3 sump pumps. 2 fish tank statuary pumps and a monster 1 horsepower stainless steel water sensor Wayne labeled as rigid. That'll take my water down. Yeah, I know I'm using a 3/8 inner diameter pipe. Doesn't make a friggin' difference. If some pump was pumping up 50 feet, it'd be just as much restriction. Doesn't matter that the pipe is small. It doesn't make a difference. Chunks. I'm glad when it starts up it doesn't torque too much and spin. I was concerned it would stir up too much gravel. Actually, it shouldn't run if those little pumps keep up the battle. It won't run very much. Yeah, so there's my problem. Just as I'm about to leave, it's 11 o'clock Friday morning. I've got tickets for a show at Town Hall. 6 o'clock tonight, at the 6-hour drive or so. Chunks. Wish I had more time to monitor this thing, but I gotta go. Gotta clean up the Suburban. I've got the sump pump on a different circuit. Plugged into a different circuit, so in case one circuit blows, which nothing ever gives trouble here, but you never know, with that water creeping up. What a time for me to go away, huh? I can make this cord longer so that pumps it a little deeper. Problems. Always a problem. Yep. Time to break open the concrete. Some people got to make the donuts, and some people got to cut open the concrete. Oh boy. Headaches. You're a good boy, Mugs. You don't have headaches, huh? You just worry about getting chicken strips. Hey, I just had an idea. If I had a computer here, I could put a camera, one of those live streaming cameras. Wouldn't that be interesting? I could watch the water level remotely. Everybody could watch the water level remotely. I just had that idea. But no computer here and no time to play around. Oh well. 3 sump pumps, 2 circuits. Should be alright. Here's hoping. Thanks for looking. On my way to New York City. I'll be there by the time you see this, late at night. Staying in Connecticut for the evening. Goodbye. Alright, I came back just to see how things were doing a few minutes later. So I'm going to unplug these 2 pumps. These little ones. And I've got the float thingamajiggy, the water sensor, strapped to the patch that I put in the pipe. When did I do it? Forget the dates. 2006, so almost 5 years ago. Yep, there we go. I got it set just above those 2 pumps. I like that. I guess when the water sensor gets 2/3 covered with water, something inside tells it to turn on. So it's there for backup. Just for backup. Oh boy, that receptacle's tight. Don't like the way those boxes are nailed into the wall and they're loose. I screw mine in. Sometimes I even glue them in. So the big sump pump will only turn on in an emergency. And off. Automatic sump pumps. Gotta love them. I'll have somebody looking into this as well. Gurgle. Okay.